Detroit Lions fans, Detroit Gen 303, welcome back in to your regularly programmed show. Hey, Will, don't put the tears away. We're giving the
Oh,
people some solutions. All right. Earlier this day, we did a live show. We put out an episode earlier as well recorded. We brought you guys a lot of problems, a lot of issues. We're going to fix all these problems for the Detroit Lions, hopefully, maybe, possibly. One can hope. I don't know. But hey, we're in a better mood. Hit that subscribe button. Sit back, enjoy the show. We're back to our regularly scheduled show now around 8:30 Eastern at night. Back on track. Holidays are over. Back to the grind. Detroit Lions football. We're getting after it. We talked about a lot of things this morning, Will. David Montgomery injured. We were texting all day. I was kind of throwing out some ideas, and I think we have something that'll stick to the wall. I want you to introduce it. This was Will's idea. It's a genius idea. We'll talk about it more. But Will, the floor is yours. Introduce the solution to some of these injuries.
Well, after we got off our first podcast, it was really during our first podcast. It kind of led to the next podcast. And that's when we found out about David Montgomery literally while we were recording the show. And after we got off that second podcast where we went live and we were talking about the David Montgomery injury, afterwards, I just got off and went and bathed in my tears. And as I was bathing in my tears, I got a news break. And the news break was, conveniently, Clyde Edwards-Helaire was being waived by the Kansas City Chiefs. Should I say, dare I say, past first-round draft pick running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire,
National champion.
Yeah, who was a guy who was supposed to be a guy who was going to set the league on fire. He was supposed to be a dual threat, a guy who could catch passes out of the backfield, a guy who could run in between the tackles and outside of the tackles. And he showed glimpses of being a really good football player. Steve, waived by the Kansas City Chiefs. We're kind of in a need, maybe. Maybe we are, maybe we're not. I don't know how you feel about it. I'm very interested. Are you interested in some Clyde Edwards-Helaire?
William, with all these injuries we've battled this year, there's really just no bad ideas anymore. I shouldn't have said that. There are very, very few. There are. Let me back up. There are very, very few bad ideas. When I hear people talking about J.J. Watt and Aaron Donald, that's a bad idea. That's probably not realistic. I had someone ask on our last show, "What about Micah Parsons?" Not happening right now, maybe in the offseason, but we're talking about how we can fix this 2024 Detroit Lions. Realistic options. You don't get a scholarship to a D1 college, a D1 powerhouse college, play on a national championship team, get drafted in the first round, win multiple Super Bowls, able to do a lot of things without being a good football player. All right, he's still young. We were sitting here talking before we even hit record. We were like, what's going on? Is he injured? We had to do a little digging, a little homework. I said, Will, you're off tomorrow. We're going to need you to go to DTW and pick up Clyde Edwards-Helaire from the airport, because I would fully suspect that Brad Holmes and the Detroit Lions put in a waiver claim. So how the waiver works is we're kind of at the bottom. All right. We don't get first dibs. We don't get middle dibs. We're like the last team. If no other team wants Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he becomes a Detroit Lion if we put in a claim. So is it a good move? Yes. Is it a smart move? Yes. Does it fix a problem? Yes. Does it replace David Montgomery's production? No. Okay.
Yeah.
Like I said, no, very, very few bad ideas. This is just another body as a just in case. Maybe he gets some reps. But William, how do you feel about CEH, the Fresh Prince of Helaire?
Yeah, that would be running rampant in Detroit if we pick him up. But I don't know, man. Honestly, I haven't seen enough of him lately. I do know, as we did some digging, wondering why he had 0 snaps this year. He's battling some PTSD, man. He's had some stuff going on ever since college. In relation to a shooting that went down at LSU, I guess it's something that he's still going through it from, which is understandable. I'm not here to judge or really even truly evaluate, because I don't have all of the details, but it's definitely something that I could understand going through it from. And some things we talk about it here all the time are just bigger than playing a game, really, essentially playing football, playing a game. So if he's beyond those things or has an ability to get beyond those things, I'm interested. I'm definitely interested. But I don't know. Is he better then in his current state, because I don't know what has his training been like. Has he taken time off to really just, I don't know, do therapy or get away from the game? What is his current physical state? If he's in the same or similar physical state as he was when he came out of LSU, I'm very interested. Well, I think that it's worth taking a look at. I definitely do. But am I banking on it to be the answer? I'm not, man. But I don't know that Sione Vaki, Craig Reynolds are the true answer to replace or step in for, not replace, because you can't replace a David Montgomery, but to step in for David Montgomery. Because what I don't want to see, Steve, and I want to know how you feel about it, but I don't want to see Jahmyr Gibbs turning into it every. And it's not, and it doesn't have anything to do with his ability. I definitely think he has the ability to do it. I think the Detroit Lions are onto something with this kind of controlling how many carries these guys get to create a level of longevity to their career, because this carry thing is a real thing. If you do the research on the amount of carries per season, their amount of carries over a career, there's a fall off the ledge, drop off number of carries. So when these backs hit it, their production starts to fall dramatically. So I don't want to see him get beat, banged, and bruised up, man. I look at a guy like Kenneth Walker. I look at Kenneth Walker and I see a back that has Hall of Fame, and that's right, I said it, Hall of Fame talent. I'm not saying he's a Hall of Famer. Listen to what I'm saying. Hall of Fame talent. That dude was running away from us. He was juking us. He was catching passes out. There was nothing that he couldn't do on a football field. But Michigan State gave him the ball 270 times a game. He can never stay healthy. His body's all bruised, battered, and beat up. I don't want to see that happen to Jahmyr Gibbs. So we got to find somebody or some bodies that can take some of these carries. So do you think that it's a no-brainer, Clyde Edwards-Helaire?
Just call him by what we're going to call him here, the Fresh Prince. All right, everyone. If this becomes a thing, that's going to be his name. I won't call him Clyde. I won't call him Mr. Helaire. It'll be the Fresh Prince. All right, nothing more, nothing less. You took the words right out of my mouth. Well, I was going to use a different player when you said that a lot of these running backs have drop offs. Ezekiel Elliott, first one that came to mind. Like, that dude was a monster at Ohio State. He was a monster with the Dallas Cowboys for a few seasons, and then boom, something happened, and he just wasn't the same. Wear and tear. Now, a lot of you guys are going to say, oh, Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley, those guys are unicorns. All right, it's very, very rare that happens where you can get the ball 300 times in an NFL season and get beat up by NFL linebackers and defensive linemen and just keep chugging. The most part
about Derrick Henry, he's bigger than the D linemen that are trying to tackle him anyway. What are we talking about?
Yeah, but I mean, these guys just get the ball, they get hit, they get punished. Like, as big as you are, it doesn't matter. You still have another grown man coming in on your thighs, hitting you in the midsection, your shoulders, your chest, your ankles, everything hurts. Henry and Saquon Barkley are unicorns. For every two of those, we could name 100 guys in the NFL who probably dropped off real fast. Yeah, I don't know. It's a no-brainer for me to bring in Clyde, but it's a question of, does he still want to play football? Because his goodbye post that he sent out on Twitter or X, it didn't say that he's stepping away from the game. He was just kind of thanking the city of Kansas City for, welcoming him in from Baton Rouge and giving him the opportunity. He didn't say he wanted to step away from football or that he wanted to take away a break or anything like that. But whatever he's got going on up here, I don't know. Hopefully he gets the help he needs first and foremost, and he takes care of that. Now, the next question is, if he wants to play football, I think he'd be a good fit with the Lions. Again, not replacing David Montgomery. We don't want Jahmyr Gibbs to be getting the ball 25, 30 times. Sione Vaki, I don't really know what he looks like as a running back. We haven't seen it. Craig Reynolds, I mean, we kind of know what Craig Reynolds is. I think he's a great blocker, a great team guy. Does Dan Campbell trust him? Yeah, great special teamer. Does Dan Campbell trust him? Yeah, they gave him the ball on a fourth and goal last year. I think it was against Tampa Bay in the playoffs. They trusted him enough in that scenario. So maybe he takes a little bit of the load too, but we need bodies. We need people who can play football. We lost a running back, go sign another running back. I mean, we're not going to replace it, but it's just kind of like an insurance policy. So this whole conversation with you and me actually started with how can we replace a Carlton Davis? And I threw out a crazy name, Jerry Jacobs. Do you think that might be a replacement potentially for CD3?
you're being serious.
Yeah, I mean, Will, I mean, we're in a boat taking on water. I mean, there's no bad ideas, right?
Yeah. No, I don't want to see Jerry Jacobs. Leave me Kendall Vildor. I don't want to see.
You would
I
really
don't
take
want to.
Kendall Vildor over Jerry Jacobs?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I would. Yes, sir. And I realize it's the true epitome of boom or bust. Jerry Jacobs is break it on the football trying to intercept it. Now, the fact that he may give up a touchdown, whoop-de-doo, I guess. You know what I mean? Like he's gonna be a guy who's gonna be in the stat sheet. Like if you get him for the rest of the season, so we're figuring out what we got. What three more games left in the regular season?
And then
Yeah, three more regular season, and then hopefully a run in the playoffs.
Three in the playoffs with a Super Bowl win.
So we're looking at 6 games, or if we end up a wild card team, maybe 7, who knows, whatever. So over that 7-game span, I would imagine that he'll probably have 4 interceptions, but he may give up 12 touchdowns. So it's it's that constant battle, and he's aggressive, man, and I love his aggression, man. But I just think with this defense being in the spot that it is, we can't afford to have a guy with his type of game out there right now, man. I'm thankful for his time here. It was exciting to watch him, but I'm not looking for him to come back. Leave me Kendall Vildor. At least maybe he can bat the ball down with his face mask next time instead of it bouncing in the air.
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that happen yet either. But here's the thing. This episode's about fixing the problem. So if we lost Carlton Davis, what's your solution? Who's playing cornerback 2? Who's taking the role of who's like this has to be like a step up. This has to be someone stepping up to be a starter. Now who's taking that next man's up job for the reserve? Who's the backup option? Like I've seen some good ideas. I think I saw. Let me know how you feel about this. What about Brian Branch maybe playing a little bit of outside corner, not full time, but maybe just occasionally? Like I think he's a better option than Kendall Vildor too in man coverage. Is that something you would possibly work around?
No, not at all. It wouldn't even be a thought in my mind, man, to be honest. But I don't think that we have a secondary problem just yet, being honest. Now, do I like the idea of maybe moving Brian Branch, especially now that I've seen the press conference from Coach Campbell saying that Iffy Melifonwu, his clock could be started as early as this week, preparing for Sunday? I love it. Maybe we move Iffy back to safety, we move Brian Branch back to the slot, and then we bump Amik Roberson out. That would be something that I would like more than moving Brian Branch out there. I need Brian Branch close to running backs. I need him near the box. I need him floating around where tight ends are roaming and stuff like that. I don't want him to be anchored off to guarding a receiver on the outside perimeter of the play. I need him having his nose in on running plays where he can punch out footballs, where he can drop back into the middle of the field and cause havoc on crossers and guys running choice routes in the middle of the field or outside sort of sideline. Just a place where he can affect more plays, man, is where I need a Brian Branch. But I truly don't believe that we have a secondary issue just yet. We still got Emmanuel Mosley, who's another one, man. Kendall Vildor is going to compete. So I think that I'm going to shuffle around a game with Emmanuel Mosley, Iffy Melifonwu, and Amik Roberson before I'm even going to be talking about bringing in a corner, man. My biggest worry or bigger concern is the running back situation. No disrespect to Sione Vaki. Don't even know what he is just yet. Craig Reynolds, I know exactly what he is. Would he be serviceable? I believe so, but there's a reason why Clyde Edwards-Helaire was drafted in the first round. If he still has juice left at 25 years old, I think there's very, very low risk, high reward, because if you get the guy in, he's still on his rookie deal. He has 1 more year left. He's a free agent next year. So he wouldn't even be a guy that you got to look David Montgomery in the eyes and say, listen, sign this guy. He's playing well. We're going to keep him around. You could literally say, hey, man, you got banged up. I signed this dude. He's a free agent in 2025. So maybe it works out for everybody. You get the opportunity to play on a team that could be making a Super Bowl run if you're Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Hey, listen, if I'm depressed, you know what would make me happy? A Super Bowl, right? You know what I mean? So listen, and I know he's coming from a Super Bowl caliber team. Let's not get that twisted, but he got waived for a reason. I don't know. I'm seeing Kansas City Chiefs. I think Taylor Swift tweeted out, Odell, you were at the house last night doing things with me and Travis. You know, now you're on our team or something. I don't know what that was about, but maybe they're just making a roster spot for somebody. I don't know really the ins and outs of why he was waived by the team, but I don't see a way where he's 25 years old and doesn't still have some tread left on those tires.
You know what they call that chair in the hotel room, right, William?
I don't. What is it?
That's what they call Travis Kelce's viewing chair while Odell Beckham Jr. is over there with Taylor Swift. That's where Travis Kelce was watching from. All right. It's called the cuck chair.
I thought you were going to say the Diddy chair.
Oh, I can't. There's a lot of ways. Let's keep this PG.
Keep it football. Keep it football.
You know I could go into a dark space with jokes, and this is not the platform that we'll get canceled faster than anyone in the history of sports. I'm with you on Brian Branch. My biggest thing, I need him on the football field. All right. I saw what the San Francisco 49ers did last year. They were putting out formations and groupings which took him off the field. I can't have that. If he's shuffling around, that's fine. But my biggest check mark is I need him on the football field every single defensive snap. If that's at nickel, corner, safety, I don't care. Whatever Aaron Glenn thinks is going to work. But that's the only requirement that I have. Not that it means anything, but on the football field. Next. All right, man. A lot of people left a lot of comments. We're addressing a lot of rumors from this morning shows. Ali McNeil's out. Who's going to replace him? I've seen a crazy name. It's not I've seen a reunion with Ndamukong Suh. I saw him put something on his Instagram story yesterday after the game. Kind of cryptic, maybe kind of hinting, hey, my phone's on. I don't know. Do you guys need an updated phone number, Brad? Do you need to get in touch with my agent? Like, how would you feel about a reunion with Suh?
Now, when we kind of investigated this a while ago, I felt like it was completely far-fetched. I felt like he had said some things about never coming back to Detroit. Didn't really bother me because Calvin Johnson said some things about never being affiliated with the Detroit Lions ever again.
Now he's at every home game.
Yeah, so things happen. People have grievances, people have disagreements, and they come to an understanding if they both want to. I think the Detroit Lions are an organization now where they can be honest and they can say, listen, understand what happened in the past. This is a new regime. You're not going to get treated that way. Apologize for what happened to you. And Ndamukong Suh can help this football team out. I truly believe that at this stage of his career, he's a guy that could come in and give us 6 games, 5 games, you know what I mean, on a snap count. And then when you get into that playoff run, maybe we could bump that snap count up, just a little bit, just knowing that we're not looking for him to come back next season and have to do the wear and tear of a full football season. No, man, we're going to rent you out for a short time to hopefully help us win a Super Bowl. So I like the idea, long as he's in the right mindset. We know Ndamukong Suh can go to a dark place himself, right? And he can be out there stomping on people and doing all types of stuff. So as long as he's in the right mindset, and I'm sure he would be vetted properly, I think we'd be just fine bringing in Ndamukong Suh, and I would like it. I think it would bring him, just even make our defense a little bit nastier, a little bit grittier even. How do you feel about it?
Extremely, extremely low risk, very, very high reward. This defensive line is probably the most banged up group out of all the Detroit Lions rooms. Why not? And again, his Instagram post kind of seemed like to me I should have put a picture up here. Shame on me. I'll slap myself on the wrist. Kind of seemed like he was being a little cryptic, like he was open to the idea to returning to Detroit. And like you said, this is a new regime. This is essentially new ownership. Like I know the Ford family owned it back when he was with the Lions way back in the day. But now Sheila's kind of running the show, so she's not exactly the owner, but she's the head bitch. All right, like she's the one, yeah, she's the one in charge, and I mean that with all due respect. Everyone from her down is completely brand new. This is a completely different organization. I get what happened back when he was here. His whole family was tweeting out how they couldn't wait for him to get out of Detroit. This is a new regime. This is a new culture. This is a new Detroit Lions team. I think the fans would definitely embrace him. I think he shouldn't have any ill beef with ownership or any of these coaches that he doesn't have a reputation with. So I don't see why not. I think he helps. Again, I can't stress this enough, guys. These people we're talking about as replacements are not going to replace production. All right, he's not going to replace Ali McNeil, Jerry Jacobs, or whoever is it going to replace. Carlton Davis, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is not going to replace David Montgomery. We're tracking what's going on, but we need bodies. We need people who can get in here, take some snaps, play some reps, help us win some football games. This boat is taking on a lot of water. I've seen a lot of stuff nationally said today. Everyone's selling the Detroit Lions. I'm not selling. Okay, we clinched the playoff spot. You think I'm just going to sell my tickets? But season's over. I'm done. Not going to watch another Lions game. No, a lot of football left to be played, William.
Yeah, I think it's underrated too. These guys coming in and teaching. Jamal Adams, Ife Melifonwu, simpler type of guys, man. Veteran guy coming into the Detroit Lions organization. He can teach, man. He can teach. He can mentor. No different than Aaron Glenn and Calvin Shepard, man. Same thing goes for guys like Broderick Martin. Hasn't been on the field. DJ Reader, Broderick Martin, mentorship, teaching. This would just be another situation where that could easily happen. Suh come in, man. He can start bringing those guys under his wing, teaching, explaining to them, hey, this is the mistakes that I've made in the past. These are the things that I learned over my veteran career. Just come in and let those guys be a sponge and learn some things. You know, just all these different pots that you can go to, man, from Terrell Williams, who was kind of like the sensei over all of this thing, to these older veteran guys sprinkling the sauce on these guys and teaching these guys the ins and outs of the NFL, man, and what it's about. I love it. We're talking 1-year deals. We're talking, you know, get in here, compete, and then, you know, he could kind of also finish it where he started. Imagine that. Imagine the story on that. And I'm going to sprinkle my own little sauce on it. Ndamukong Suh coming back to the Detroit Lions, not only winning a Super Bowl, maybe kicking an extra point in the Super Bowl. You know, you never know. You never know. You never know. Steve, you remember this guy?
Yeah,
you remember
I do.
Yeah, he's a soccer guy.
And
he
after
can kick
that,
the shit out of a football.
After that field goal I saw from Jake Bates yesterday, that 52-yarder, I'm all for it. That was the worst kick I've ever seen in my whole life. I'll tell you this: Jake Bates only kicks game winners. That's all I'll say. I'm going to let it slide. If it were a game winner and that game were on the line, I know Jake Bates is hitting. I know he's hitting that. So yeah, I mean, like I said, well, there's no dumb ideas, but you were kind of flirting with a dumb idea right there. But hey,
hey, listen. If we're up by 2 tutties in a Super Bowl and Ndamukong wants to kick an extra point, you think Dan's telling him no? Shoot, Flip's gonna send him out there for sure. And I know if Ben Johnson gets wind of it, you know he's listen. I didn't say this too, and this has got me on a whole nother tangent. You know why we lost that Buffalo game? Do you know why?
I can't even.
The real reason why we lost that Buffalo game that nobody is talking about, and it's actually blowing my mind that I've seen no podcast creator, no content creator, no TikTok creator, social media creator, ESPN, Pat McAfee, CBS. Nobody is talking about this. Bottom line, the reason why we lost against the Buffalo Bills is because Dan Skipper didn't get enough freaking touches. Every time that dude's touched the ball, it's a touchdown. What are we talking about? Steve, what are we talking about? The dude is a matchup nightmare.
William, I was on the ledge this morning. All right, I was a man ready to jump off of a building, and this is your shit you're going to give me for fixing the Detroit Lions, giving Dan Skipper more touches. I had no. Hey, like I said, you're really messing with this idea that I put out there today that there's no bad ideas. You're really like towing the line.
Hey, you give me an inch, you know I'm taking a mile. But to keep it serious, man. I would be excited if we signed a Clyde Edwards-Helaire, man. I think it would be just interesting to see what he could do in a situation like Detroit. This is a player's franchise, man. I don't think that there's any question in that. Anybody and everybody who's came here, even if they ended up getting released, cut, or waived, they've said nothing but good things. I don't know of anybody who's left here like, man, F Detroit, man. They treat you like crap there. So dealing with some things off of the field, I would love to see him here. If they brought in Jerry Jacobs, even though I said that I wouldn't particularly be looking to bring him in, I would trust in our GM and our front office, man, and whatever they're going to do. But I truly don't think, and you guys leave it in the comments, let me know. I don't think that we have a secondary issue just yet, but I do believe we got some things going on with this front seven, and it needs to be taken a look at. Anzalone's coming back. This D-line is kind of this D-line, the way it's looking is what we got.
The Legion of Whom. And lastly, my last thing is I'm going to say is I have to apologize for this episode, guys. I put a quarter in Will, and we had to let the jukebox sing. All right, it's just we have to listen to the whole song. I apologize. Leave some comments, hit that like button. We'll be back later with another show.
Peace.